Today I'm gonna teach you how to backside 180. So there's multiple way to go about doing it, but I'm gonna explain to you how generally backside 180 is done. First thing is like basically you have to turn your shoulder, and then your foot positioning in terms of backside 180 could be anywhere from just regular ollie position. But some people put it like slightly where you can kind of like pop it sideways, and I don't do that, but there's nothing wrong with that. And then some people put like a foot a little bit out here, come out a little bit, because like it goes around and you want to stay in the outside of things. So like say like you're gonna make a circle like this, you want to stay kind of like outside of things. And then a lot of people initially kind of try to pop the tail towards the rotation, but not so much. You don't have to do that. Like even if you don't do it, even if you don't intentionally pop, like, you know, sideways a little bit, it's just gonna happen because your body is rotating. So basically, once you start turning your shoulder and then pop, right? Like you're turned the shoulder and then popped, you're automatically at least pop somewhat sideways like this, you know, like a little bit like that. Like even if you don't try, just the fact that you're gonna turn your shoulder, that it's gonna pop that way. And then, but you could intentionally just slightly pop that direction, pop like this. And then, of course, like you want to get to good ollie. So you want to push the nose. So what you require on this trick is actually pretty good ollie. So if you go up and then try to push the board to stay under your feet, and if your ollie is kind of like this, you know, your tail's coming off when you do ollie, generally, most likely you're going to lose the board while you're trying to backside 180. But I mean, there's a trick to kind of like not worry about that and then like still learn backside 180 without like super good ollie, which I'm going to explain to you very shortly. But generally speaking, if you're gonna go and then your back foot is just hanging around here and your tail is not catching up to it, then what happened is you're just gonna lose the board. Like it's gonna go over here, over there, whatever. And so you gotta have a good ollie in general, but I'll tell you like other ways to go around it. And then when you try to land it, there's two ways to go about it. Is like a lot of people pivot, like, you know, take the nose down first and then pivot the rest of them. Or slide that way, pivot rest of them. Or you can come down, like you get a good rotation and then come down like 180 degree. And then another one is like kind of like late 180 into it. So like some people you see like Shane O'Neill or something, like Shane O'Neill, one of the backside flip footage, he goes like backside kick flip, and then he kind of seems like stay in the air like just like this, and then suddenly like bam, come down like rest of them. And like that's like under your control, because like a backside 180 can be done any way possible. Like basically you can pop and then barely turn and then take the nose down and pivot the rest of them. And it's like a lot of people who have a hard time turning, they do that. But so like in order to get used to the rotation of things, right? In order to get used to the rotation of things, I tell people to do like couple different exercises, you know, before that point, which is first thing is not doing an ollie, not doing anything, just basically turn your board like that, like backside, same direction as a backside 180. So you just go and then slightly add weight on the nose and then just go turn, you know. And while you're doing it, you want to turn your shoulder because that's the exercise we're trying to do. Not, I mean, it is important that you could just kind of like do this without turning too much of a shoulder. Of course, you have to turn your shoulder, but like you don't have to turn too much of a shoulder. But when you do backside 180 though, you have to actually lead the board with the upper body first. So like you have to pop and then your upper body head kind of go first, and then once you turn around, you start looking where you're gonna go from that direction, right? So like say like I was here and then I backside 180'd it, and then I come over here and then I'm gonna start looking that, you know, if I'm going that direction, you know. So what you need to do is like you turn your head and then you're gonna start looking where you're going, and same thing with the shoulder and stuff. So like when you do backside 180, like when you do not the backside 180 but this pivoting exercise, basically you just do this, you just put your weight on the nose and then just turn. While you're doing that, you want to turn your shoulder and start looking other direction. And then after that, like, you know, you feel like you can turning pretty easy, which this wouldn't take like more than a day. Just kind of like if you just like pivot, you know, like, and then what you can do is start sliding sort of like same direction as backside. So like when you do backside 180, what's happening is like actual backside 180, you're gonna pop like forward of you. So like you're gonna go like, say if you're way over here, once you pop and do execute backside 180, you're likely to move at least about a foot like forward. So like say like if you're going here and then say I'm goofy and then I backside 180, I'm gonna land over here most likely. So the thing is, the pivoting is quite different in that regard, except it's like basically same rotational, like shoulder motion and head motions and upper body motions. But then like once you actually do backside 180, it's different. But when I feel that like if you do a power slide backside 180, that's quite similar to how you would do backside 180. So that's another thing you want to kind of like, if you can do it, like power slide, just go like, you know, the fact that the reason why it's very similar is you're gonna end up trying to slide this part right here, and then backside 180 you're gonna actually pop it, so like that, you know. So I've done a couple. Yeah. Anyways, so do the slide, and then that will be a good exercise before you actually executing backside 180. And then start backside 180, and now I'm gonna get into like some troubleshootings with the backside 180. Is so there's a lot goes wrong with this trick. Actually, there's a lot goes wrong, but in general, like it's just like basically physics, you know. There's and it goes back quite a bit, often back to the ollie of things, you know. So I've seen many cases whenever somebody backside 180, first thing usually happens is board either goes away from you, like really fast, like it goes away. So like it's not like this is what needs to happen. It kind of goes like away like this, you know. So that's obviously up to physics, you know. You're swinging too much with your back foot. So like say like when you do shove it, you're gonna do shove, right? You're gonna do shove, but you don't want that much force into this sort of like, not a scoop per se, but pop towards that direction. You don't want that much of a swinging motion in the pop, because your body is, again, I explained this before, but your body is already twisted, and the thing is that body tend to transfer that energy down to the foot when you pop. So you're turning, and then like you're already like, if you do this like right now, this motion right here, I can already feel my foot is trying to go that way, like just because my shoulder is turned. So when you start turning shoulder first and then you pop, you're generally gonna go this way. And if you add like too much of a spin into it, what's gonna happen is it's gonna spun out. So that case, generally don't want to spin too much. And the thing is, like, another thing is you try to spin, but board doesn't get caught, and then it just kind of goes there, and then you just kind of land over here or something like that. I've seen quite a bit of that. And then that obviously you need better. It could first thing is like you could be popping kind of wrong, and then you're like when you put your foot all the way down to the ground, what happened is like you're grabbing the floor too much, and then you try to get out. So like your ollie probably already is a problematic in this case. If your board is like just kind of get left alone, and then you just kind of go. So like first thing is like you want to pop it right. You want to pop, like, and then like of course it's gonna be slightly turned. And then the other thing is like you might not grabbing the nose enough, so like you're just kind of leaving it. You didn't catch the nose good enough to pull the board with you, basically go along with the board with you to land the backside 180. Another thing is like you don't want to initially when you're learning this trick. You don't want to turn 180 every single time. Try like just turn like 90 degree, like just turn like this much. Don't try to turn all the way, because like initially that's kind of a really hard task, and plus it's disorienting. It's like you're not used to turning that way. So yeah, so when you first learning this trick, like you don't want to try to turn all the way, and like initially it's kind of like it's hard to rotate all the way, and another thing is like when you rotate all the way, you're gonna likely to kind of like slip, like it's gonna happen to you at least once or twice or even more. The thing is like once you turn and then you don't have the perfect balance, good chance you might slip away. And that's another thing is like if you just kind of like stop at 90 degree, like, and then just keep going like this, what's gonna happen is like you're just gonna kind of keep getting stuck, and then slowly you're gonna gain the balance you need after you turned. So like when you're turning, you don't know where you're going, and the thing is like body doesn't know what to do. And then once you turn, if you try to land it, you kind of like slip away either direction. You can slip away backward, you can slip away forward, depend on how you turned. So if you just like in the practice, you just kind of want to get little friction at the end to slow you down, and then roll away if you could, but you don't have to do it right there, because like you're practicing ollie while you're turning. So like there's a slight difference than like just ollieing, like because it's getting twisted a little bit. It's like your ollie is getting twisted a little bit, and so you're not actually doing exact ollie per se. Quite often my ollie on this one is more like on this, like a toe side than the side of it. Sometimes like I'll just hit the toes a lot, and then I'll guide the board towards that direction. Like another good thing to remember is like where your eyes are going. So like first you're gonna look down, and then try to, and then after you turn, basically you want to kind of look like, so you're gonna go, say like you're coming here, you're popped, and then you turned, right? And then your body is here. You kind of want to look diagonal where you're going. So if your shoulders are not turning, go back and try to do the pivot thing, you know. So like how I did it is like I turn my shoulder and then press down like this, you know. It happens almost same time, but you're turning your shoulder and then like this, you know, right? And that gives you good practice to look, like learn how to look where you're going. Like look there, down, like, so once you're coming, say you're coming this way, and then you backside 180, and then you land straight, then like you're gonna try to look over that way. You can't look like completely that way, you know? Like you're gonna keep looking at the board because you want to know where the board is. So then, yeah, that way. Yeah, so another thing is, board seems to rotate right, but you don't seem to go all the way there, you know? Or, like this case, another thing could happen simultaneously is like board seems to rotate a lot faster than you do. And so you're at a good point where you can control this. Is like, you don't, you're shoving it. You're shoving the board and try to follow it, you know. And then, so like, it's not spinning out, or it's not like staying where it was, and like you're away from it. But board seems to rotate a lot quicker. I've seen this happen and then like quite often what people do is like try to go like this, you know, like they try to put their foot to follow the board, and their body hasn't rotated yet, and technically you're looking back, so you're coming sideways like this, and then you turned, and then board's going a lot faster than you, and then you're trying to put the foot like kind of like this, you know, instead of landing like that, right? So that's obviously you're shoving too much, you know. You're trying to shove it, but you're at a good spot. You're at a good spot. If you're doing that, just don't try to pop shove it too much, you know. Like just kind of, yeah. So your balance of power is in a right place, and but the thing is that you're trying to spin it, you know, like your body just already spinning it, and you just need to pop a little bit less towards this direction, and then it will just kind of go with you. It happens a lot on backside flip too. But yeah, like, so board is like fairly near you, but it's just rotating quickly, or like some cases you're actually like almost like it goes over the rotation or something, you know. So that's obviously in the pop. You want to reduce the amount of spin you give to the pop, and yeah, that's about it today. If you have any question, let me know, and then subscribe here somewhere, subscribe or somewhere, and yeah, this is like, just try to learn this incrementally, and then try to go back to like the pivot and the slide thing I was told you about. Like that always give you like sort of like a better like perspective / experience to to your rotation. You know, that's what's the tricky one. So yeah, and like this video if you like it, if you liked it, or if this helped you out anyway. I'll see you on next video.